Welcome to the TA Fit My Motivation podcast. In this episode, I catch up with a good friend of mine, Leigh, who's a prolific rugby league winger and try scorer with almost a 1-to-1 ratio of tries to games. Liam is currently playing for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats at Superleague after his recent departure from the Toronto Wolfpack, which he made history as the club's first ever signing. He's also formerly of Leigh and came through the ranks at Wakefield as a youngster. We spoke about his career so far, his highlights, what motivates him and where his drive came from to become a professional athlete. We cover his loss and love for the game and how he found it back again, mental health for players, playing for Ireland on the biggest stage of the World Cup, his future ambitions and what it's like playing and training as a professional sportsman during the pandemic. Without any further delay, here's me speaking with Liam Kay. Right, let's just get it set up and that. Anyway, yeah, what's been going on there? What have you been up to? I'll just crack on.
No, like I said, mate, just fucking chilling at home.
Nothing.
Absolutely chilling at home. Just been pulled into training. This when I woke up this morning, so I went to bed last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, the lads played last night. We played St. Helens last night.
Oh, what score was it? What score was it?
Oh, they got slapped, mate. They got slapped 48-6 or something like that.
All right.
But, yeah, they got a hammering. They didn't last week. They played in last week, and they were only like 24-18 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously this week, obviously fixed it up, mate, and then just come with their game plan and just towelled us. I woke up this morning at 8 o'clock and I'm like, they were like, right, you're in. I'm like, what? I've just done 2 days in a row. What do you mean I'm in?
How are you in after you've done your shoulder? How's that work?
Well, mate, all I've been doing, so I took myself out of my sling now. So I've literally been out of my sling for 2 days now.
Yeah.
So as soon as I'm out of my sling now, they've got me on watt bike pretty much every other day. And I've just been doing loads of single arm stuff. So I'm going to have one powerful right arm and then
very powerful.
one weasel left arm.
How did you do it?
So I was, we were playing against Huddersfield. I was gutted because you know me, I've always played on left wing, so I've always played on left wing. And Brian Mack came to Toronto and decided to put me on right wing for some reason.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. What was his decision behind that? Do you know?
Well, I think because I was off injured for a while. When my ankle was out for 9 months, and during that time, Matty Russell hijacked the left wing.
Right. So he did a bit of a Greg Ware though for me.
Yeah, he did a bit exactly. He did a bit of Greg Ware. But you know, when Rusty were playing there, when I got back from injury, they were playing well with Ricky Latelli, so he didn't really want to move. He didn't really want to shake him up, so he put me on right wing, and it just completely blew my mind going from left to right. I've always played left. Some people think it's like easy to grasp, but it's so hard.
Honestly, that's like
ball like that way instead of that way.
It's so weird, isn't it? Because obviously I played both sides, but for me, predominantly, I'm right-handed, but I felt so much more comfortable on the left-hand side. Don't know what it was, but when you change over, it's your line running into the line, running through the line, time in your run.
Timing and everything.
Mad, and then it's crazy, isn't it?
I get used to it, mate. So I was making myself look a proper dickhead because I was like playing shit, like when I knew I could play better. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, fast forward and come to Wake and played at right wing a bit, but then obviously Tom Johnston got injured, so then I got my chance on the left. So I thought, finally, on the left wing now.
Has Tom sorted his? Tom was a knee recon, wasn't it? Was that last year?
No, that was last year. He did something to his elbow. He's all right now. He's back playing. But yeah.
Anyway, I'll get onto it. I'll get onto all that and stuff in a bit. But basically, I just wanted to ask you first, what's it been like as a professional during COVID? Like, because obviously from now I'm obviously being retired and stuff myself. Seeing the outside, it just looks like pretty hard to take. It's pretty flat.
Yeah, I just can't get my head around it. I don't know how anyone can. Like, it's so weird. Like, we're turning up to training, you've got to wear your face masks 24/7, which is pretty much government rules anyway. But we turn up to training, you know how it is when you get to training, and you've got to wear your face mask in and around everywhere, hand sanitising all the time, which, you know, I'm not going to go against having clean hands, no, it is, do you know what I mean? But you hand sanitising your hands every time you do, like, say if I do bench pressing gym, let's say, when I finish on that machine, it's like you spraying it down, you can wipe it all, and it's just balmy. And then that's just training. When you get to game day, it's even worse. It's like you got your temperature taken like all the time. You're not allowed to shake hands with your opponents, but you can you can tackle them for 80 minutes. It blows my mind. I can't get around it.
That is mind-boggling. It's stupid.
It is strange, man. But it all boils down to money at the end of the day. So
yeah,
I've got to play games and that.
So, like, you know, when you obviously the end of Toronto, obviously you had a mint time at Toronto. Would you say that was like kind of your highlight or one of your highlights of like your career?
Do you know what, mate? Probably the highlight of my. Are you talking my career here?
Yeah, it's a career.
Career year. Probably it's a tie really between 2014 and Leigh Centurions because that was just.
That was a sick year.
You know, that was just class, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And obviously my time in Toronto, 17 and a little bit of 18. Both for different reasons on and off the field. Like,
yeah.
Off the field, at Leigh we had a great set of lads, and on the field we pretty much pumped everyone. And same as at Toronto, albeit we were in League One the first year, but great set of lads, and when we had good times on the field. But it's a tie that really, because some people, if someone asks them like, "Oh, what do you mean Canada's not the highlights?" Like, well, no, like when we played in Leigh, the time we had in Leigh and the set of lads we had in Leigh was like one for me.
I
want to swear to Leigh.
Yeah, right. Because that's what I wanted to like a question I kind of want to get to when I'm asking people like whoever I'm interviewing. It's kind of like to say. It's almost like a fleeting kind of force that you can't put your hand on, isn't it? Like it's where like I knew where you were, you knew where I was, but also the feeling that you get when we were like 24 points down against Wakey. We're looking around at that, everyone knowing that we were gonna win no matter what. And this isn't. I'm not talking just purely about rugby league or rugby, whatever. In all sports and it's like all like say if high flying businessmen or whatever, it's having that like kind of like a flow state but it's so elusive. You can't put your finger on what it actually is. But when you know you've got it, you just know that you're going to win, or you know that you just.
You hit the nail on the head. Like it happened loads of times to us when we were playing at LSV, and we'd go down like 20 points to a team, but none of us would be fretting because we all knew that we'd have the strength to come through in the end. You know what I mean? We'd be able to just turn it around like that, and we did. Nearly every game.
It is mad. It's just, but it's like, but I played obviously. Well, I played for 10 years with rugby. I was like, and in that 10 years, I had that feeling where like that. It's almost like an invincible feeling where I think it's like for me that's the best feeling you can have in rugby is knowing that you've got it's like your mates but also knowing that they've got your back no matter what you do, no matter how many mistakes or whatever, it just feels like even the other side of the other side of the whole other side of the field gets you, if you know what I mean, in a weird way, it's
weird as well because we were playing in the championship, but it's like you said, you had that invincible feeling. Like we beat Salford Superleague team, we beat Wakefield Superleague team. 2014 we never beat Leeds in the Challenge Cup, but it was that feeling we had. Probably ability might have let us down in the end for a couple of the Super League teams, but we still always had that belief and always give them Super League teams. I'm
going to be a little bit like kind of semi-controversial because I don't think it was the ability. I think that no matter what, we were always like that group of lads were just like we always had a back, and no matter how like that, until there was a shake-up within the team, that's what kind of unsettled and unnerved a few people, and that tiny little thing, that little tiny creep of doubt that kind of creeped in because people talking about certain things, it kind of, because like I said, it's so fragile, that feeling and that momentum is so fragile that even one thing, someone just even for a second goes, oh God, I don't know if I'm going to have my position next week or this, that, the other, because we're all comfortable. I think because of how comfortable we were, that's what made it so strong.
Do you know another thing as well? We went through that season pretty much injury-free. So the team that we had was always the same team. And it's like you say, when someone else comes in, a player of a high ability, and that player who's been playing every week thinks, actually, now I might not get my position. That's what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
It was just great. It didn't move it. Like, we had such a tight bond in 2014 and a little bit of 15, and then it was like towards the playoffs, wasn't it, in 2015 when it started creeping in because we started hearing about signings for next year if we got promoted, and it just started blowing everyone's mind, and then we just went to shit that playoff year.
But don't you think that just that being like, so it's not even a threat. It shouldn't be a threat, but it just that little tiny seed of doubt that kind of creates the atmosphere that can stop you from, because obviously we weren't necessarily on paper, we weren't fucking the best team in the world, but like performance wise,
a bunch of misfits put together, weren't we?
But then performance wise, we were class, and then I think, but I don't think we had. I think that's what kind of separated us at the time from a higher caliber set of players, because we were young players, and I don't think we'd been challenged before by big older players or more successful players coming in. And I think that mentality to be able to stave off that competition takes a few years to kind of grasp. And I think at the time we were a young squad, and we were a bit naive, I think, to think, oh, we can just, we
didn't have Super League. We didn't have that Super League environment. In experience, you know what I mean? So like when someone of that caliber came in and were like, actually lads, you're not doing this right. You know, we used to start training, we'd been playing football before training. But that was the vibe we had with each other. We used to have a laugh with each other. We play, and then, someone would come in and be like, nah, you better play football before training, this is what you need to do. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? And then it just tore it apart. But that's what we probably needed to go to that next step. We need to accept the fact that we needed to probably get his head down and not play heads and volleys before training, do you know what I mean, and do stuff like that.
Exactly, but the thing is, though, that was kind of what was working, but then you can see it from like a perspective standpoint now, looking back, that was probably the wrong way to go about things, but because it was working, I suppose I feel I do feel for Rosen as well, because he was like a very matey coach, and then once he kind of had to step up and be like, no, you can't do this is wrong. But he'd been telling us for 2 years, you know what, this is working for us, like this is going to be great, blah, blah. But then once he realised, and he had a lot of pressure from the top to say, we need to progress this to a proper professional outfit, telling a group of 24 to 28-year-olds, like, you got to stop and change your ways.
Wind your neck in a bit. Yeah.
No, exactly. But like when it's working for us, we're like, oh well, you know what? Like, why do it? But then I suppose, like now in retrospect, I can definitely see that we were just naive and immature. But at the same time, it was working. It was a right laugh.
It did, mate. It worked, and you know what? Up until 2015, when, like I said, Rose probably had that bit of pressure. And I'm not blaming Rose, but maybe he didn't know how to handle that pressure in terms of how we were training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, mate. 2015, we completely burnt out when we were playing fully. At the playoffs, and that's probably what cost us in the end. So, I mean, it's just one of those. It were class at the time, but like you say, we were just naive, young and immature.
Yeah.
We just didn't. We needed that. I'd probably say them good eggs of Super League experience to come in. Do you know what I mean? And know exactly what we were, and probably didn't get that.
No, but it was a good 2 years, a year and a half anyway. But
it was. Yeah, we were in
some good parties as well. I think that's what helped it out as well to be
every other week we were partying. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Turning up to training, still steaming.
Right. So at Toronto, obviously, I was signed for Toronto. Never actually got to get over there myself, which obviously I was pretty devastated about. But I was on a downward spiral from Widnes myself. I think I fell out of love with the sport, to be honest, having injury back to back, and I just kind of fell out of love. But anyway, talk us through, like, obviously your time at Toronto, and like kind of what it meant to you, and what it was like being a sportsman in Toronto.
Well, as soon as I heard the fact that there's going to be a potential team in Canada join the English League, I was like, of course. I was like you. I was kind of falling out of love with the game a little bit. I was at Leigh 2016, and I wasn't enjoying it. Probably I'll say probably the players that I was in and around wasn't helping me mentally. Do you know what I mean? I wanted the right frame of mind to deal with certain people, and I would just like to say on a downward spiral. So as soon as I heard Toronto, we're coming about, I've got to be part of this. So I did whatever I had to do to get there. And I'll be honest, mate, until I actually went to Canada on a plane, I didn't think it was going to be real, as weird as that sounds. Like, everyone, like, we went through did pre-season in England like you normally would. I started playing games, and we think we had his first 10 games or something. We're all in England, and it's just like, it's not really materialising this. It doesn't really make sense. We're playing for Canada, Toronto, but we're all playing in England. And then as soon as we went over there, mate, it was just next level. It was just like we were like what soccer stars are over here, football stars over here.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of you felt like over there. Obviously, not give it, take away the first 3 weeks when we were just getting going. But as soon as people heard about it, it just snowballed and it got bigger and bigger, and everyone was just like recognising you in streets. I mean, I've lived in Leeds 28 years, mate. I don't get stopped in streets like I did. Do you know what I mean? People are stopping me in the streets in Toronto. Like, oh yeah, Leigh, hey, oh, you Wolfpack, yeah. Like, I walk past people I know in Leeds and they don't even say it. You know what I mean? But it was just, it was just crazy, mate. It was such an experience, and I hope, like, I won't go into too much detail about next year, but I hope they survive for next year because it's a complete mystery. You know, you unfortunately didn't get to come over, but I can't speak highly enough of what they were like over there, especially like the fans and the culture for sports they have over there. I mean, you walk past bars, like every other bar is a sports bar. They're just crazy for sports, you know what I mean?
It's like the American kind of system, though, isn't it? Like the NFL, and kind of they have the Blue Jays over there, the baseball team and stuff. And so I think like they buy into the similar kind of ethos, like kind of it's sports like such a big event, like over there. And like I do love the American system, you know, like where you go to college, you get your degree, and then the way that they feed it into the you feed it in that way. Because for me specifically, like for me in particular, having to do my studies, doing uni full time, and then having to play full time, that was like proper hard for me to, you know, get back and forth and like make a name for myself again. That's why when I dropped down from Superleague to kind of do that, that was really difficult for me. But like I think that system is like definitely the way to go, and I think that all sports
100%. Well, it'll take me for example. As soon as I ain't got any qualifications, I ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? So when I retire from rugby, I'm gonna have to go back in time essentially and study and do whatever and get my like a degree or do whatever I want to do. But like you say, the American system, if you don't get your grades and that, you don't make the cut. You know what I mean? So that encourages you to do it. You know, if you love playing the sport that much, then it encourages it. They do it the right way over there, mate. Everything about sports is done right over there.
I just think like over here, it would take 10 to 15 years to kind of restructure, get every university on board. It'd be such a massive collaboration to get sports teams and universities kind of on board. It'd be amazing because it just opened up so many doors for like different, like you'd find people who probably haven't played different sports like at the beginning of the career, or like have just gone to uni to study and like were good at basketball, but then they end up class at rugby or vice versa. You'd find loads of good players, but I mean,
and put that on the flip side, like in America as well, if rugby league were a thing, you've got that many athletes over there. You know, all these American football, they want to be American footballers, but let's just say rugby league's just as big. You'd have so many players that transition into rugby league from American football easily. It's the same thing.
Yeah. You said there about having a bit of a tough time, like because you obviously you strike me when I've obviously I know what you like, I know who you are, and like you are like you have this confident demeanor and facade that you put on. Then is that so? Do you kind of like is that your like kind of way of survival? Just be confident, and or because obviously you said there you had like tough times and whatnot in like mentally. Now how have you coped with that and got yourself motivated to get back?
Well, yeah, like I say, you know me, so I'm always, and anyone that's watching this who knows me will know that I'm a loud person, I'm a jokey person, I'm a confident person. But like I did go through a hard time at Leigh. I was suspended, a couple of times, and for bizarre reasons, which we won't go into. But it were like, how is this happening to me? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck's going on? So it was hard because I fell out of love with the game as well. And to be fair, if it wasn't for Toronto, I don't know where I'd been at, because like that was the thing that were like, actually, I want to get on this. This is something I want to do now. So kind of when I was having that hard time, it kind of twisted it for me, because when Toronto came in, I was like, actually, finally now I've got something to look forward to. I want to, like, it's a brand new club. I was the first signing, so I'm like a massive part of history. So I was like, I want to give this a good go here. And then, but like I said, the confidence is just something that I have every day. Like, people will know when I'm down in the gutter, because if I don't come in laughing and joking, I'll take a piss out of someone. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, it's like, what's up with this guy? That's just the way I am.
Where do you think that came from, though? Because obviously there's kind of, I the way I see kind of, now I'm a bit older and wise, is like life, you are kind of a product of your experiences and like kind of what you've gone through previously before you obviously become an adult. Like, so like, cause I'll give you an example. Like, I was the second child, and I had that kind of little bit of a, what's it called? I want to prove, rivalry. I want to prove to me and my family and that I can do it, because I was the younger of two, of two brothers. You know what I mean? So then I always felt like I had something to prove, and all like that kind of ate me up. And I know it's only little, but it's something that kind of motivated me later on in life and whatnot. So is there anything that kind of you can kind of draw back on memories where you kind of got confidence from and got that where you've for me, you're one of the fittest players I've ever played with, and I've played with some fit players, and so it's like one of them things. Where do you get that kind of drive, determination from to go a little bit extra? Where's that come from?
Yeah, you know what? I'll probably draw a little bit similar to your story. You know, I was the second child as well, and both my brothers played rugby up until a certain point, and it got to the point where they couldn't progress, and I was lucky enough to progress. Do you know what I mean? And my dad was always driving rugby into us. You know, you play rugby, do this. I started at 4 years old. He drove it into us, so I'm kind of like representing my family in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, my brothers didn't make it. They didn't turn professional, but then I kind of took it on my shoulders that, you know, I'm kind of representing my family now. You know, and I've always been a player when I was younger. This is strictly when I was younger. I was a little bit rat's-assed. Like, I didn't really care. Like, I've been a DJ. I've worked in nightclubs. I've been a topless waiter when I was younger. I've been in that environment where, like,
that's the Leigh K I know.
But you know what I mean, it's a very egotistical environment, if you know what I mean. But I never let myself. I won't say I ever let myself get too egotistical to the point where I was disliked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I always kind of kept like the egotistical side of me, like the fact that I was kind of representing my family and kind of put it together. And it was only probably until, do you know what? It was probably up until the last year of Leigh when I was in a bit of a downward spiral, and you know, Toronto came along. I actually thought, I'll start doing a little bit extra in gym. Like I'll be out on field longer than anybody else. Or, you know, I'll be doing extras. Whereas you probably know when I was at Leigh and it were extras, I was like, scrap that. I'm first one in. You know, PlayStation inside club. But do you know what I mean? That's what. But I was always blessed with, you know, like me aerobic, you know, capacity and all that. I was always blessed, and it was probably up until I actually started discovering that I'm either losing it a little bit, or you know, it's like I've had this ankle injury now, and I was out for 9 months, and I can see that I've lost a little bit of speed as from when I was there before. So it's like, I'm not blessed with this anymore. I'm actually getting a little bit older. It's my body that's telling me to start, you know, getting my ass into gear and start doing stuff like that. So yeah, it was kind of, like I said, mate, it was kind of like a mix really, because you know, I've always had that ego side of me that's not too much of a dickhead, but you know, I've always been representing my family. But that's what's always kept me going.
Yeah, because like it just sprung to mind because like when me and you were like in particular when we're playing, obviously when we were playing for Leigh, was always like me and you looking at each other. Well, I always thought I am absolutely fucked here, so I'm gonna take another carry. Like, I see you and you're like, oh, it doesn't look too bad actually. I've got to take another one now. It was always like
it was the bleep test that did it for me. You'd always look knackered on the bleep, like we'd always be like, I was looking across and thinking, I'm absolutely out of my ass here. This guy just keeps going.
That's just again, it's that kind of mentality of just I can't be beaten. Because there's always like
competitiveness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always like kind of individual battles that we have in rugby as well. Like obviously, just put the line because like there's like on your like our left side was we had a unit, and you still want to better your other centre, you still want to better your other winger, you still want to get the so it's kind of that's a healthy kind of competitiveness within the team, which is good. What I want to go on to is Ireland, talk to me about Ireland, man. Like, because obviously that was one of the biggest kind of my only, well, not only goal, but one of my biggest goals was to try and get an international appearance. But I was trying to do everything to my great grand was Welsh, but I was not allowed. I was like,
no, your grand's dog wasn't Welsh.
my dog's from Wales. Come on, get me in. It wasn't to me.
It's my mum's mum who's Irish. She's from Dublin, and I don't think at the time. Obviously, I'm not saying up. Obviously, I represented Ireland in 2017. But I felt like I could have probably stepped up in maybe 2014, 15 when I was in good form with Leigh. I felt like I could have stepped up, but I'm not actually sure that Ireland knew I was eligible. I think I spoke to Bob Bezic, and he kind of put the word in for me. And I got a call. A free trip to Australia to play in a World Cup, and it was just that's one of the highlights of my career. If you was to not take a year highlight, if you was to say what's one of your highlights in your rugby career, it'd be like probably playing Papua New Guinea away in Papua New Guinea. To a sold out crowd. It was like
that's nice.
Like singing the Irish national. And I know I'm English, but like the sense of pride I had for my mum's side of the family singing the Irish national anthem was just
it gives me chills thinking about it, because it's like obviously there's a certain amount of emotion before a game, and like me when I was like playing, I was quite quiet, kept myself to myself, and if I said something it'd be like I only said things like flits, and then you were quite quiet as well, like sitting next to me just rubbing my sleeve. So you were pretty quiet.
Rubbing sweets to my earphones, and that's all I did.
What sweets have you got today, lad? Well, you were lucky sweets, but you're pretty quiet as well, like me. So like, but I think like obviously like before a final you have that extra bit of emotion, or before like a playoff game you have that little bit of extra emotion. Is that? I imagine it'd be that bad, but because obviously it's you're on a world stage, you're in Australia, so like completely out of your comfort zone. What's like the dress? Like, what was that feeling kind of like within like before you start a game there?
It was like a cup final, probably ×2, because I've never been on a world stage before. And my first ever game was against Ireland against Italy. And at the time, Italy was flooded with NRL stars. James Tedesco, for example, massive NRL star. He was probably playing for Australia in the next one, but he was fullback for Italy. So it's like, whoa, I'm now actually probably a little bit out of my comfort zone too much. Do you know what I mean? I'm playing it. That's how it felt. So I'm like, God, you get all this stress building up. But for me, like you're probably saying, you build yourself up that much before a game, but as soon as the whistle goes, it kind of like you kind of just click. You're just doing your job. Like we played against Italy the first game, and I think pretty much everyone wrote us off because of how much flooded with NRL stars this Italy team was, and we managed to win. And it was just like we had a big party after, singing tunes, all these Irish songs and stuff like that. It was crazy. We loved it. And then it was like, actually, if we beat Italy, if we could beat Papua New Guinea now in the next game, we could potentially be playing England in like the quarter-final or semi-final, whatever it was. And it was just like, when we initially went, it was like, are we going to play rugby because we know we might not qualify, or are we going to get on the piss, basically? That's basically do you know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
It's like, but we beat Italy. It's like we're gonna have a fucking dig now.
Like, but like, so do you think the having the lack of that, so having no pressure helped you to kind of, because obviously you think everyone's wrote you off, does that just, I think when for me, I like playing with a bit of extra pressure. I felt like I got a bit more out of me, but also I liked when there was we're called wrote off. You know what I mean? Because then it's like gives you a little bit of doggedness in you as well. It makes you feel like, well, I've got something to prove. But also, if something does fuck up, if you don't go well, it's not the end of the world, if you know what I mean. So I just think that kind of helped you. And you had a sick game as well, like, so obviously you must have.
I got a couple. I did get a couple of tries. I played, all right. I got a couple of tries, a couple of walk-ins. I got, but you know as well as I do that. I think the pressure before a game is a little bit different to pressure during the game. I love playing in games where it's like maybe 20 points to 18 with 5 minutes to go. We've got to get a try, and everything's crisp and on the point. That's the pressure that I like. Probably building myself up too much before a game is something that I try to avoid. Like I say, I'm always quiet. I put the music on and try and take myself away from it. I don't really like to think too much about a high pressure game before I do it, but like obviously being on a world stage is a completely different kind of fish, and it was just one of those things. We was in an arm wrestle in that game, and then we started to pull away, and it's actually now we're clicking here, and we're dealing with the pressure that that a lot of people have said, these aren't going to win, but we're actually dealing with it now, and we're putting it on Italy. They've got to deal with the pressure now, and they didn't, and we came away the win, man. It was class.
So, what's it called? So you're just saying there, like I did the same thing. I'd build myself up too much sometimes, and only till I got to 28, whatever, 26, 27, 28, when I started to realise that the more I thought about it before the game, the more I was just nervous and I couldn't perform, because obviously that nervous energy just overrode like the kind of snap into kind of, like you said, what you're used to, what you know, and like. But when I had a couple of flops. I was playing for Saints, and like when I built when I was a bit younger, and I built it up a bit too much. Like, and it's almost like people. I'm speaking here for people who don't know or haven't been in professional sport or haven't been in an environment like that. It's not so much like, and I'll go back to like my mate. He always like he's slagging off people on and watching footy, and they're going, "Oh, what's he got? What's he done that for? What's he done this for?" And there was it was at the England match. Did you watch? He got sent off. Maguire. Right, Maguire's obviously clearly going through some kind of bad situation at the minute, but then
bad patch.
Yeah, he's one of the bad patches. He's got family troubles and all this, and like, the commentators jumped on him within a second, like, "Oh, he's crap. He's crap. He shouldn't be on the pitch." But you don't know what's been going on behind it. You don't know how much it's affecting you mentally. And then when you're in that downward area, when they're at the down point, when someone gets on your back, it's just like, "Oh, just give us a break." Like, and so I'm trying to say, like people are easy to jump on, criticizing players, and like, but they don't realize how much mentally actually goes into that preparation, and how much obviously the best players can just override anything, and just like, but most people are confidence players, and when it's going good, it's going good. So like, for you, like, what is that kind of process of like getting ready in yourself mentally for a game?
Well, it's like you said, like, so confidence is a massive thing. For me especially, I took myself off social media for so long because I couldn't fans. I didn't like the fact that people were saying shit things. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just about me, but about our team that were playing. At the time, and it's just like, for me, confidence is the top thing for me. Like, it's just, you can have the best coach in the world, but if he doesn't fill you with confidence when you're playing, then you're not. For me, like, you're not going to play to the best of your ability.
Because it's it's like that 1%, isn't it? It's that 1% or 2% extra that you just get from nowhere. You don't know what it is. It's just that. But if you've got a coach or a staff or even the team, just someone's got your back and says, "Mate, no, you've got this. Like, you are good enough." Like that kind of that bit of extra pat on the back and whatnot. That's what really galvanizes. Like, obviously you.
Yeah. I'm probably say like you say when you're younger as well. Like you say, you played for Saints, and I made my debut at Wakefield when I was younger. I think going back to like the pressure thing as well. As a young kid, you think, right, I've got to impress. My debut, I must do everything. I do all this. And when realistically, for a bit older now, if you just relax in the game and you just do your own job, then you'll play a lot better. Do you know what I mean? It's weird to say.
It's hard. It's hard when you've got like the your idols. Well, in your case, your idols that you've watched growing up, and then you're playing with them, and then you say about, like, obviously they're probably not like being like malicious, but they just say it's like, "Oh, it's shit that," or "You've got to fucking work on this. You've got to do that." It's not good.
Fucking catch it.
Or whatever. Just like little things that you'd say to anyone, but you take it on heart when you're young. You take it to heart, and that's what. That's what really does affect you when you're younger.
Not anything else. I want to put everything into rugby league. Do you know what I mean? I want to put all my focus on rugby league, and I want to be the best player that I can be. And I think that's why a lot of players do struggle. I think they probably follow the same mentality, and I think that when it does come to an end, sports leaves a big hole to be filled. And if you don't have, like you said, a structure in place, that's why some players might go off the rails, or end up in rehab or whatever and stuff, because they don't have that structure in life. I'm a bit of an OCD kind of guy now. Like, I get up every morning, I kind of do the same thing. Like I say, not religiously, but I have that getting up and the structure. I'm setting off for training now, I'm doing this at training. I have that structure. Do you know what I mean? And I think that if if that went away, we'll take lockdown for example.
Yeah.
Lockdown came, and a lot of players like fell kind of on their backside because they had nothing to do. Gyms were shut.
Yeah.
Obviously training was shut. You had no gym equipment at home. It's like I'm going stir crazy in the house. I need to get out. Like it's just that, and I think that was a real big realization for a lot of people, especially me. I mean, I've had a look at a couple of things like public services and stuff like that. Something to keep me up and about and doing stuff, but still have that structure in place. But like I say, at the minute, I'm kind of got all my eggs in the rugby basket.
Yeah.
Probably just my eyes on post career, but I have got everything locked in there.
Yeah, just well, if you ever need help with anything, just let me know, because I'll always sort out and give you a shout, because I've gone through it myself. I wouldn't want you to struggle around. So yeah, I was going to say outside of sport, like in like what other things have you like other sports would you kind of say that you would have been able to do, or would you kind of like anything else that kind of you do? I know you're good at like table tennis, and you've got like you've been to Verdansk quite a few times. But what's like was there any other like kind of sports or any hobbies that you kind of do that kind of like keeps you? Because like what I have to do, like you said, you've got a structure. Like you get up, I have to go up. Like especially now, I have to get up, go to the gym before Atlas wakes up, and that keeps me keeps my mind fresh and whatnot. And go for a run or go for a cycle. I picked up cycling during COVID because like everyone else did. But like anything that kind of like you do to take your mind off things to keep you like obviously focused. I know like I know it's only joking, but playing COD or playing FIFA does focus your mind. So
well, I wouldn't necessarily say it focuses my mind. I think it takes away the focus from the rugby side of things. I do play I play PlayStation quite religiously. I'm a fully grown man, but that is something I go to and I play. I mean, just before my shoulder injury, I was starting to learn how to play golf as well. Something to keep me up and about. I think when I do obviously retire, I think I'll be the same as you. I think I'd have to be up at the gym nice and early and be done. That'd be probably my routine, because I don't want to turn into a big slob when I finish playing. But yeah, no, it's just I'll be looking to start my own family. I think when that eventually comes in as well, I think that'll be another tick on the box, and that'll be something else added to my daily routine. I think I'll be on PlayStation a lot less, mate. Trust me.
Trust me, you get it ripped out of the wall. I was saying to you. I was like, she's like, what are you doing on that again? It's 2 a.m. Get the fuck out. Maybe I should stop playing. I think
when your mates connect, your missus spraying on the headphones, it's like, yeah, all right, time to go.
You get sprayed, but I think it's part and parcel of like, again, it's like kind of an addictive kind of mentality, like being a sportsman, and like you kind of have that kind of such a competitive nature that like you want to be better. Even a game, like we have a group, like, and then it started off with like 4 of us. Now it's growing arms, and there's like 30 people on there, and just like everyone just wanting to get the best kill death ratio. It's pathetic, but it is like part of that competitive nature that we all have. It's mad. But what future, like family? Have you thought about anything that you're gonna do in terms of obviously still with your missus? You got a house and everything like that.
Hoping to start a family real soon, mate. To be fair, that's the way we're looking to obviously have kids. I took advice off Mr. Greg Worthington. Obviously, you get your house, you get your 2 dogs, you get your wedding, then you have your kid, and then your life's over. That's it. So that's I'm on the route. I'll be hoping to have kids soon,
mate. It's like one of them things that's like it's a rite of passage. Obviously, you want to do it, but when it happens, it's like it's mad. In my honest opinion, honestly. At first, I was like, I know it might sound weird, but I was just disconnected, because I was like, it seemed like such a change. You've got 1 minute you don't have a kid, and then the next minute you've got like, society dictates that you should like step up and do what this, that, the other, but in reality, it's totally different, mate. It's like obviously you just don't know. You've never been through this before. You just got to like stumble your way through it. You feel like you don't have a clue. You feel like you're at your depth, and you've got like all these responsibilities. And then it's just mad having to like, again, that's another thing that you'll go through yourself. It's just, but then once it gets to like 1.5 years when they start to like develop, mate, it's next level. It's class. It is class.
Yeah, well, a close mate of mine just had a newborn, and he was kind of the same. He was like you've got a kid and you're picking up and you're scared that you're going to drop it, and then but like after so long you're just like throwing him around or throwing her around or whatever, and you just like it's just because it's something so unknown. And don't get me wrong, I am nervous about having kids, but I think I'll be sweet.
Yeah, you'll be class. You'll be class. So last thing, outside of this COVID rubbish, whatever it's all going on, there's been no chance to go out and party and do what? Have you still do you still dip your toe in the scene, or are you completely out of the dance scene?
Do you know what, mate? I'm completely out of it now, really.
Yeah.
But that's not because I don't want to be out of it. Like, I'm getting a little. I want to have one more night. For all time. Honestly, I do want to Bryony said to me the other day, she's like, "What do you think you're going to do for your 30th birthday?" I said, "I'll probably try and organise a beat for mate." And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, "No, you're not got that.
You definitely
any further than that. Any further than that, like, I'm just like, you can't really, well, you can, but it's not the same, I don't think. I don't want to be one of those blokes that's like mid-30s going on like a session, do you know what I mean?
No,
like, I just want to, it's like 2014 and 15 when like me, you, AJ, Pow and all Hoppy, we used to hit it hard, like just fucking get on it all the time. And it was just like, yeah, it's like you say, you get more responsibilities as you get older. You just can't be going out every weekend getting stuff and that.
No, but it was good. It was good at the time, and like I said, you just rite of passage. You do these things.
The thing is, just the funny thing is, mate, when I was growing up and young, when I DJ'd and stuff like that, I used to hate pubs. I'd be like, how can you sit in a pub and like just have a drink? Like, it's just mean and disgusting. The older I'm getting now, though, it's like, oh, man, going to a pub and having a drink. You know what I mean? It's like you change, don't you? I'm just like, who am I? I never knew I am anymore. There's this little tanned up wannabe being gone. Do you know what I mean?
you and Bob having a casual pint at the back.
Oh, yeah, like it just changes it. But no, I wouldn't mind. I don't get missing feeling anymore. Man. I'm getting too old for it now.
I know, lad. We both are. Right, man. It's been awesome, man. So we'll have to catch up when all this is over and whatnot. We'll have a good beer in the pub or something anyway. But
yeah. Are you growing your hair?
Hey, that is it. It was thingy though, wasn't it? It was because of COVID. It was just like there's no thingies open, no barbers.
Oh, I like it, mate. Obviously.
No. Mate, honestly, it takes commitment though, doesn't it? Because I've tried it about 4 times. Yeah. You get to this length, and it's like this is the length where it's like proper shit. It's just like it's only just top knotable. It's like I look like a top knot wanker. Do you know what I mean? It's like proper shit.
Yeah.
Like it takes so long to get past this point now.
The in between stage. Well, Derek Beaumont made this because when he suspended me from Leigh, I didn't bother going and getting my hair cut. I went through that in between stage. So,
yeah, you had a hairband as well. I might have to get a hairband, mate, because that's what.
Yeah, I used the headband.
It proper goes over your face, doesn't it, when you're running? It's well annoying.
This conversation's so complete.
I know what I'm talking about.
My hair, yeah.
Mate, it's a pressing matter. What are you on about?
Mate, I know.
So, lad, right, have a good one, mate. Take it easy, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Right, you too, mate.
Catch up soon, lad. See you in a bit, mate. Bye. There you have it. Thanks very much for that, guys. Obviously got a bit of facility at the end talking about top knots and the like, but it is what it is. Catching up with a pal and that. Up next is going to be James Laithwaite, Willie Tonga and Rennie Matua in no particular order, I'm not sure yet, and I've lined up a couple of ex-Olympians and current Olympic prospects for next year. So stay tuned and subscribe, like, share, do whatever you do. And yeah, I'll be in touch soon. Take it easy. Have a good weekend.